The International Court of Justice, ICJ, is about to deliver a ruling that is going to be closely watched around the world. At the heart of the matter are Israel's actions in the Gaza Strip. Israel began bombing and blockading the Strip after its territory was attacked on October 7th by Hamas, which is considered a terrorist organization by the United States and the European Union. It stormed Israeli towns, killing more than 1,000 soldiers and civilians and seizing around 250 hostages. Israel says its response is aimed at freeing the hostages and destroying Hamas. But according to the Hamas-run health ministry, some 25,000 people have been killed, mostly women and children. In response to this, South Africa has accused Israel of genocide at the ICJ. The ICJ was set up after World War II to settle disputes between states and is the top court of the United Nations. But it's not a criminal court. Its function is to give opinions on matters of international law. In this case, South Africa is asking the ICJ to consider whether Israel is committing genocide in the Gaza Strip. Broadly speaking, genocide means attempts to destroy, in part or in whole, a national or ethnic group. Israel says it's not committing genocide in Gaza.
It is respectfully submitted that the application and request should be dismissed for what they are: a libel designed to deny Israel the right to defend itself according to the law from the unprecedented terrorist onslaught it continues to face, and to free the 136 hostages Hamas still holds.
But South Africa argues that Israel's invocation of self-defense does not excuse it.
Under the Genocide Convention, nothing justifies genocidal acts currently being committed by Israel. Self-defense is no answer to genocide. Nothing can ever justify genocide. There is no balancing exercise as Israel has sought to suggest. The prohibition is absolute. It is permissive rule of law. No matter what some individual within the group of Palestine in Gaza may have done.
A final verdict on whether or not Israel has committed acts of genocide in Gaza will take years. But a ruling on what's called provisional measures will be delivered by the ICJ in The Hague on January 26. South Africa has asked for 9 of them in total. Everything from desisting from any genocidal acts against the Palestinian people and immediately halting military operations to access for independent investigators and increasing humanitarian assistance.
This decision will be immediately transmitted.
Francis Boyle won the first request for provisional protection on behalf of Bosnia-Herzegovina at the ICJ against Yugoslavia in 1993.
I believe the Republic of South Africa will win a order of provisional measures of protection against Israel to cease and desist from committing all acts of genocide against the Palestinians, along the same lines of the first and second order I won.
The provisional measures are legally binding, but are they enforceable? In 2022, for example, the ICJ ordered Russia to immediately suspend military operations in Ukraine, but Russia ignored this, and Israel has already said it will do the same. The matter can also be brought to the UN Security Council for enforcement, but it's likely to be struck down there as well. But don't rule out the political consequences. It could trigger countries around the world to impose sanctions on Israel or make them less willing to sell weapons. It could influence proceedings on other courts, notably the International Criminal Court, ICC, which deal with potential war crimes committed by individuals and not states like the ICJ. But most of all, it could pose a dilemma for countries such as Ukraine, which so far have backed Israel, but also support principles of a rules-based international order.